I would say about a year ago. I mean, you could tell me when exactly happened. You just pop up. You got all the pop up, and it's like Buffalo Bills house. I was like, I'm looking, and before I say anything, I'm like, he bought that. He's making that an Airbnb and more. I'm like, that's freaking brilliant. And the second thing I thought about was, I thought Silence of the Lambs was all filmed in Maryland for some reason. I was like, I didn't realize there was a part in PA. So for my PA roots, I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. So, Chris, where did the idea come from? And like, go for it.
It's a crazy story, man. I got to tell you, brother. It's if I told you I had a master plan that one day I was going to open up a cinematic destination from a Academy Award winning film, I might say you're batshit crazy. But so it wasn't a grand master plan. But what I did do was hear about an opportunity, and then had what I would call just like a freaking light bulb moment in my brain. And it was back in October 2020, and still pretty much deep lockdown and all that. Things weren't really going on. And my day job, I do make a living in the film production industry as a art director and prop stylist. Independent film, TV shows, commercials, corporate videos, stills photography, all that type of stuff, doing the aesthetics of the shoots. And one day in October, I had read on one of the horror websites, I forget which one, but, just in my feed that day, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. And it said, Buffalo Bills house, Silence of the Lambs, is up for sale on the market. I was like, oh, I got to read that. I didn't have the epiphany in that moment. Read the article. I'm like, where the hell is this place? I'm like, oh, it's in PA out by Pittsburgh. It's a couple hours away. It's not terribly far. And I read the article. I was like, man, that's a trip, and being a lifelong horror fan, and having done many destination type trips myself, whether it was, Camp Crystal Lake in New Jersey or the Myers house in Southern California, always looking to see, the latest and greatest of where some of my favorites were filmed. And about 2 hours after that article, just kept thinking about it, and I just thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if you could go and spend the night at Buffalo Bill's house? Man, that'd be a trip. Like, that would, like, as something the horror community's never been able to do. It's been privately owned as long as it's been standing. And that's kind of how the idea started. And I was like, in the very least, I'd like to go check it out. And because, things with the film industry had been, a lot had been put on the kibosh, due to all the lockdown stuff and regulation. I had a little more free time on my hands than I usually do. And I said, I want to just go out to Pittsburgh and at least check the place out and see if this idea is viable. And first step was calling up the realtor and driving out to Pittsburgh. And here we are.
Wow. Yeah. And like you set off a big chain in my head of this, like, I know it's hot. The house is up for sale now, but like Freddy Krueger's house was on the market for $4 million. And like, you're looking at all the destination spots of not just horror, but anywhere, but you could be making a bank on that. I remember Ferris Bueller's house was on the market, or I think it was Cameron's where
it was Cameron's, where the Ferrari was.
Yeah, and I think it was like $2 million.
Some steep numbers on that.
I mean, that's a big, like, that's a lot of money to make.
It's a lot of loot to come up with,
Even the Amityville house, although I don't think that neighborhood's going to stand for it. I think they're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, it's a shame. All horror fans know, they changed the windows, and it doesn't really resemble. I mean, it's the house. There's no doubt about it. But the iconic imagery of those.
The name of the street, I think, even got changed.
I didn't know. They changed the name of the street. Okay.
Yeah. Even I know, because I drive cross country. I've seen almost everything we just brought up. I did not see the Amityville house, but I remember, like, even when you go to when you go to Oregon and Estonia, where the Goonies is, someone lives in that Goonies house, and that neighborhood is like, they see a car they don't know, like they're staring at you. And
Right.
there's been a lot of problems because I know the woman that owns it did a documentary where she let people in and was all about it. And little by little, there's people knocking at all hours of the night. They're stealing the lawn furniture. It's like, none of the movie props are there. Like that's so whatever you just stole from a resident. Like
you just stole from a resident. Let me tell you, as a art director and prop stylist in the business, all that stuff goes when we shoot on location. It all goes back in the truck and either goes back to storage or gets liquidated. So